Ooh.
So that's been my go-to these days is Honey Burnett.
So take note, boys, and send her Honey Burnett stuff.
Yes.
Take note if you're part of the fan club.
34G, small or medium underwear, depending.
Yes. So at this point, the types of scenes that we're probably seeing you in most of, or that the members and fans are seeing, are MILF type scenes.
Yeah, for the most part. Yeah.
Like we're not making you like it's your first, walking in the door fresh out of high school. We're not giving you preteen.
Yeah, no,
stuff.
I
We're
never
giving
had
you...
to do that. I mean, I never had to do that more.
What are some of your favorite roles to play character-wise, and what are some of your favorite scenes without character base that you love doing?
Okay, so I think it's fun to play a character, honestly. I enjoy it. Sometimes it's fun to be over-the-top cheesy. Mm-hmm. I kind of did that yesterday. I played MILF, and it was with someone who's been my stepson a million times, and we kind of just joked about it. And at the end, because he's played the stepson, he's like, why do my stepmoms always seduce me? And then I was like, and at the end we just played with it, and I was like, am I better than the other stepmoms? Because you gotta fucking run with it, it's porn.
Yes, of
but
course.
So, I mean, those can be fun or silly.
Like, how many stepmoms does this boy have at this point?
Yeah, it's like, come on.
And are you all sisters?
Yeah.
And are we all gonna get together and bang it out?
Yeah, I mean, it's like this big incestuous club of porn. Yes. So there's that. Sometimes I like shooting gonzo. I just want to show up and fuck, and I don't really want too much conversation.
Yeah.
But getting into a character is definitely fun. It is nice to like play dress up and be something else,
Does it help you find a line of mutual chemistry with your partner when it's character based, or do you have better organic chemistry with your partner when it is more gonzo style?
It probably depends on who I'm working with. Mm-hmm. There's definitely there's guys that I like doing freestyle gonzo based because they're good at it, and there's other guys that need that character or need that script, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But as far as I'm pretty particular about which guys I like to work with. Mm-hmm. I do try to make sure I work with guys that I only have chemistry with, because I feel like otherwise you can see that.
Yes, it does read.
Some people may be better at faking it than others, but I like my scenes to be real, and I want to have fun in my scenes, and I want that to come across. So I try to make sure it's people that I get along with, Mm-hmm. But then I've also had friends that I've tried shooting with, and it doesn't work, because it's I like hanging out with you and you're fun, but there's no sexual chemistry.
Yes.
So there is that too. It's that fine line. So you got to find that balance.
I think it's important that you mention that with your friends too, because it's sometimes assumed that being in this industry, you will meet someone and you can just bang it out. And yes, you can. Totally. But there still are lines of relations, like friendships versus lovers.
Right.
And things like that. Like those real common relationships that you find on any platform still exist in porn.
They do. There's people, there's guys that I like working with, but I don't really talk to them mm-hmm. or hang out with them. We show up, we do our scenes, we leave. There's other guys that I'm like, oh yay, I get to work with, we enjoy. And then there's the ones that I actually am friends with,
Yes.
So there's those different lines, and they're all great. I do good scenes with all kinds of, it's just, I don't know, it just depends. It also depends on the type of scenes that I'm doing.
Totally. Sometimes you don't want to bang your best friend, and you need this guy to do this job.
Yeah.
You can kind of...
Or if it requires a certain type of scene.
Yes.
I'm
who's gonna bang it out.
Yeah, I know. I'm okay, this person's great for this person's good for this, or no way will I do a BDMS scene with this guy.
Yes.
I just doesn't feel right.
Absolutely. So after, being experienced, knowing your business, knowing what you're good at, knowing what you like, do you always have a submissive role with your partner or a dominant role, or do you switch back and forth based on that
on the person? Also, I definitely switch back and forth. So for the most part, since I'm usually the MILF, I'm usually the dominating one.
Right.
But there's definitely some guys that I'm always the submissive with. And it just, again, depends on the guys.
Absolutely.
There's some guys that will try to be dominant with me, and I'm just look, little boy.
Yeah.
That's just not out. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Girls, I tend to be more dominant. Mm-hmm. If a girl tries, I don't know what it is. If a girl tries to dom me, it kind of annoys me. I don't know why. Unless I know her. Like, there's been a couple girls that I'm friends with, and that's okay. I feel like it's more of a comfort thing with girls.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, it's like, I have to know you.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, I feel like otherwise it's like the mean girl syndrome with some of the girls.
And I think as women, we're naturally a little bit more... We have a little bit more inhibitions about the vulnerability that we give away, and it's harder to be vulnerable with women that you don't know.
Yes.
Even in creating a real life friendship,
right.
It is hard to break past that wall of vulnerability with another woman, whereas with men, you're coming from a whole different mental perspective entirely about the situation. So yeah, I could see where, especially you being confident and knowing your job and knowing what you do well and you know yourself.
Yeah, I've had like some of these young girls
I
that I want to be like, look, bitch.
Yeah, I cannot see like a young, fresh teen girl coming up and being like, I'm gonna dominate Ava Adams.
Well,
like,
okay,
Ava Adams is gonna flip you on your ass.
There was kind of a script like that and it was a threesome with a guy that I work with all the time, and he read the script and he's like, oh, you're not gonna like this. And I looked at the script and I was like, absolutely. And I told him, I was like, this is not fucking, this little girl is not gonna try to tell me what to do.
Yeah.
And it ended up, I had to like put her in positions anyway, so it wouldn't have worked. So basically it ended up being that we both ended up dominating her because it's just the way it was. Yeah. And I think it ended up being way hotter, and it ended up being one of their best scenes. And I think had they tried to go the other route, I don't think the scene would have been as popular.
I think sometimes when you write scripts and you have an idea director-wise or production-wise, and then you meet your talent.
But they knew me, so they should have known better.
Yeah, and you know, you can always have the expectation of like, oh, maybe we'll flip it and do something different for this person.
Right.
But sometimes you don't realize it till you get everyone together, and these organic dynamics of the person just aren't gonna work for that character.
Yeah, and
it's just not.
And it was funny because like the person that I work at, I'm always submissive, but it was kind of fun because we were both dominating together towards the other girls, so that was fun.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And how was she with that? Was she
was
more
totally
comfortable?
Fine with it. Yeah, I mean, she was excited because she's like, oh, I never get to be dominating. I'm like, you're not going to today.
Today's not the day
Sorry.
to start.
Sorry.
I love it.
And then it was like they had her be dominating towards him, and I was like, oh yeah, that's not going to go over well either. And you know,
you can read when there's some timidness to it.
Yeah.
There's definitely a line of comfort that you have to be dominating. Yeah. For sure. So what about when you're not shooting? How do you balance your life? How do you have fun? How do you zen out? Find a peaceful spot to...
How do I zen out? I go to yoga so that I'm not a total bitch to everyone.
We appreciate that.
I'm like, no, it's true. If I'm having a bad day, I mean, I have so much going on. Sometimes, like, people... I don't think there's so much more than just, like, shooting. Obviously, I wasn't shooting for a while. I have so much more stuff going on that I don't even talk about because it's just, like, my other aspects of life that have nothing to do. But I have a lot going on, so I try to balance it out. Friends and family are huge to me, so I devote a lot of time to that. You know, a lot of family vacations, a lot of time with my friends. I love traveling. I have my group of girls. I have separate, we do our like girls dinners, our girls brunches. I mean, and then I have my friends with kids and we do our stuff together. And I'm actually a member of a country club.
Oh my god!
So it's just like, it's not a she country club. It's a fun country club. But so the kids can play and then like the grown-ups. So it's a lot. I mean, I definitely value my friend and family time. Like people have a hard time believing, but I'm a big introvert and I keep my circle very, very closed. Mm-hmm. And I love that circle. And I don't know, like, it's not that I don't know. When people recognize me, it's not that I'm always rude, but sometimes I'm kind of like, okay, you know, it's like my me time. I'm with family and friends, you know, leave me alone.
It's not performer time. It's real life time.
Yeah.
And I think it's important to keep a line of clarity between the two and keep a certain amount of distance between the two.
But again, to each their own. There's some girls that live and breathe and, you know, want, like, I have no problem, like, going around no makeup. I usually don't wear makeup when I'm shooting, but some girls are always in there. And that's them. That's just how they are, you know? So we each have our own. But I know for me, I just kind of, I come out and I shoot and then I go back to Texas and it's like my other life.
Yes. I'm kind of the same way where I keep my work and my personal are, of course they have to intertwine a little bit, but I keep them very balanced and very separate.
Yes.
You know, like yes, and there is a way